You know, of course, Davis has the reputation of being one of the strongest environmental communities, and we hope to continue that, working on climate change. And there's going to be problems with resources and problems. And one of the things that I think that we're dealing with is how do you deal with the local budget shortfall in this economy and keeping the environmental issues together, and the whole issue sort of this Republican era of tax. You know, taxes are horrible, and the best thing to do is not to tax. Given the constraints of the economy and that particular issue and these environment things, how do you see Davis continuing in this environment to continue to deal with it, to be a leader in the environment, and what problems do you foresee dealing with this whole kind of starve the beast mentality, that Grover Norquist and the Republicans have, which have created this problem in Davis. So in short, so how do you see dealing with all of those issues?
Well, there's some good...
A very short question.
Right, and not complex at all. Certainly cities have a wonderful opportunity to provide incentives for entrepreneurial investment within the community. We've seen other cities very successfully implement green zones as part of their land use documents, as part of their zoning code. And what these green zones do is you provide land use and other policy incentives for green businesses to locate in different areas of town that might be struggling. So for us, it might be implementing a green zone over a downtown or our neighborhood shopping centers, or even areas of town that have business parks that might be struggling as well. And in this way, we can capture those university spin-offs or those green incubators that we always talk about wanting to locate within the city limits. Certainly on the Business and Economic Development Commission, we've seen that this issue of capturing spin-offs is pertinent to the entire region. Regionally, we're definitely behind the ball. But I think within the city council has a wonderful opportunity to really use land use to their benefit. And I'm very enthusiastic about the opportunity to provide incentives for folks to invest in the community. So an example of green businesses that we might want to have locate within the city can include low-flow toilets or low-flow irrigation systems or solar companies. And in this way, we're also providing folks the opportunity to invest in their own homes to live a lifestyle that has less impact on the environment. We're providing those opportunities for folks to invest locally in local businesses, and then we're also providing opportunities for job diversification.
Do you support or oppose the sales tax extension that's going to be on the ballot?
The sales tax extension will be really important. So you were talking about starving the beast earlier, and I just don't think that a starving the beast mentality is appropriate in these times. I think we want to be thinking about how to preserve good union jobs. We want to think about how to preserve the city being able to provide good services to the city. And I certainly think the council has an obligation to prove to the taxpayers that we're doing everything we can to use taxpayer money the most efficiently that we can, whether it be streamlining operations or looking at every aspect of city governance and figuring out how to do it better. I think we have a simultaneous obligation to do that, but the sales tax measure is going to represent about $3 million of general fund money. And recently we saw in the paper that the council also decided to subsidize the Parks and Rec Department by about $3 million, their programs by about $3 million. So if we want to be able to provide those services to the city, and those are things that are important to us, the sales tax measure is an important part of that. On the Business and Economic Development Commission, we also looked at surrounding cities to see if the sales tax would provide any impediments in terms of our local businesses being competitive with surrounding areas. And certainly we're not charging a sales tax that's higher than surrounding areas. It's actually very comparable. So I'm supportive, but I'm also supportive of the council really taking a hard look at each line item in our budget and really making sure that each department's doing the best they can.
Which leads sort of to the next question. Given the green jobs, all of these things, how do you bring them about? We're kind of guaranteeing public safety, dealing with the diminishing resources that we have. How can you do that sort of today, given the current depressed economy?
I'm not sure I understand the question. Certainly, when those areas.
What specifically as a council member, let's say you're elected, day you're on office, what do you do?
I must have missed the first part of the question.
Given the diminishing economy and wanting to do the green jobs, wanting to do these different things, and the different diminishing amount of resources that we have, yet still continuing to, want to preserve public safety, is there a particular thing or way that you would deal with that the first day, the first week you're on the council?
Well, your screen went black. Is that a problem? Your screen went black.
Okay.
Your
Oh,
screen.
go back.
Okay, sorry. Well, all of these things have positive effects that feed on each other. So certainly, when I'm talking about revitalizing areas of town that might be currently struggling, and when those businesses went in initially, certainly those developer impact fees were charged. So in terms of needing to provide a higher level of public safety services or a higher level of water, wastewater services, certainly when those areas were initially zoned, if that wasn't dealt with appropriately, that's an issue. But when you're talking about revitalization, what I'm talking about is revitalization as opposed to a new building. We want to make use of our existing resources, I think, as efficiently as possible, especially downtown, our neighborhood shopping centers. These are areas of town that we really rely on. And in a time of peak oil and a time of diminishing resources, I think we want people to be able to invest in the community in a way that they can live, work, bike, shop, do all those great things within the city limits. So if you're allowing people to invest locally, you're also increasing your sales tax base, you're increasing your quality of life, and you're creating this positive economic, social, and environmental sustainability effect through providing good incentives for folks to invest here.
Okay. I think that answers it. Yeah.
Have anything else that you want to just free-form say about your candidacy?
Well, I guess I'll talk, we haven't talked too much about party politics at all, so I guess I'd like to give a plug for the Young Dems. Certainly we're excited about working with the party to really try to get the word out, and so any ideas that you all might have about trying to access different groups and trying to get folks started, I think is really important. In terms of party politics, I'm really excited about green jobs, I'm excited about sustainability, I'm excited about social reform, and I think these are important issues we all need to be talking about. So please, if you see any opportunities for the Young Dems to get more involved or to get the word out more efficiently, please let me know. I think there's a really good opportunity, certainly to capture a lot of the people who are graduating from the university and starting up life here in Davis and looking to really settle in. I think really getting them involved early is important.
Okay.